Good morning. Nobody's joined us at the moment, but we will be going live soon. I'm sure we'll have somebody joining us at some point. It's been a cold one this week, but it's nice and bright today. I'm going to see if I can get the channel up now so I can actually have a look and see who's joined us. I haven't even... Oh, I've got my glasses. She's been really good. Get rid of that. Let me just see if I can find it. I don't know if we're going live at the moment, if it's getting out to people at the moment or not. There are one live viewer. If you can hear me, that'd be great. I don't know if you've got to join us, 2 live viewers. Let me just see if I can just get this up now because it makes life a little bit more easier when I can actually see on screen. Let me have a look now. There we go, and we're live. Good morning. 1 thumbs up. Let's have a couple more. As you can see this morning, I haven't had a shave. There we are. A couple more. As you can see this morning, I can start seeing people's chat down here then. Let me just have a look now. Technology, eh? Technology. Let's see if I can get that on there. Live chat, there we are. I can see people's names then. Peter Bailey, Matt Reynolds. I can't see it on here. We've got 2 thumbs up. Thanks for joining. Good morning, Matt. How's it going? As you can see, Matt, I got told off this morning. Alison, or Debbie McGee as I call her, said to me, "You need a shave." And I said, "Well, no, well, I want to relax this Saturday morning. I don't necessarily want to be having a shave." And she said, "Well, you're presenting yourself on a live feed to people across the nation, as we've seen last week, across the world." But there you go. It has been cold lately, and during these periods, I do tend to leave it go a little bit. Don't look too bad, do I? Look, just got to just get on with what we normally do. We have got a guest joining us this morning at 10:45. That's Patrick Dwyer of Chameleon Landscapes in Sheffield. He has been on here a few times, and we want to try and get him back on here, hopefully this morning. Hopefully I'll have a good signal from down where he is. But first of all, we've got to go through the usual. We've got to do a big thank you to ITS, the supporters of this live feed, Saturday morning live with Johnyboy. So many thanks for ITS. And as you know, they've got over 22,000 Trustpilot reviews, okay? 22,000 Trustpilot reviews. They'll deliver your product the next day if you order before 7. Good morning, John Ruddleston. How are you, mate? All is good, all is good. ITS, and I always say that go on their website, check them out. They are good, they're great people. Ian Jackson's, good morning. Let's have a little look at their website. Alison is out and about, John, I have to tell you now. There we are. There's the ITS website. Familiarise yourself with it. They've got loads of products. There's always something online going. They've always got deals on. But remember, they won't be beaten on price when it comes to tool, station, and screw fix. So check them out. They won't be beaten on price in comparison to those two. ITS, a great company, and I always work with a young man down there, Ben, and if he's watching this morning, I'm sorry about Arsenal in the week losing to Liverpool. We've got to mention it. This isn't just about landscaping, it's about building a network, okay? Building a network and building a community. So massive thanks to ITS. I just seen then on their website there, let me have a look back, I'm scrolling across the top. They've got those back in stock, the Vont wheelbarrows, £25 off. How many of you are actually using those plastic wheelbarrows? You know, like the Warrior wheelbarrow, the Vont wheelbarrow. All those ones are out there. They've got a free Bosch rewards. Discover their rewards. Go on their site and have a look. You know, you don't necessarily have to buy their products, but just go on and check out their January offers and their deals at ITS. So go over there and check it out. Look, we got Patrick Dwyer joining us this morning, but there's a few things that I want to try and cover and that I'm going to go over very briefly. I think Patrick's going to be calling us at 10:45. There we go. I can see the time now. If that's working right, 10:45, Patrick's going to be joining us. If you're watching now, Patrick, feel free to call if you want now, but we will be having Patrick, and you will be able to hear what he's saying. Patrick Dwyer runs a company called Chameleon Landscapes up there in Sheffield, and they do their work very, very well. Excellent, in fact, beyond excellent. It's standards that we can all adhere to, and we should want to aspire to. Excellent company. Patrick's going to be joining us this morning, as I said. But the things I want to cover this morning, which is there's been an increase. Okay, there's been an increase with it. Is theft across the country. Paul Goodchild, morning mate. Me not feeling great. I bought stuff from ITS in past DPD delivery stuff. Right, okay. From Paul Goodchild. David White, morning, Johnyboy. Got a day off today, so I thought I'd join you this morning. David, thank you very much. Listen, guys, as you join the live stream, it's always good to hear from where you are and what you do. We want to hear a little bit more about you and tell us what you do. So good morning, David. Let me just see if I can get that back up on there this morning. I'm not flowing this morning for some reason, but I'll get into it now in just a second. Let me just see if I can just get that up because I need to see that. Need to see what's being said. Very, very slow, the internet at the moment. But I did tell you, we are very, very soon going to be having fibre for these live streams, so that we'll get the upload. It'll be a lot better. So the things I want to touch on this morning, I want to touch on about theft. Theft is on the increase across the country. You see it on a daily basis, and you see on all these local community pages. There is a network of is like Neighbourhood Watch years ago, and it's happening. People are watching. They've got those doorbells where they've got the cameras, and they can actually see who's coming down their drive and who isn't coming down their drive. Let me just get rid of that. Oh, I can see it now. And I tell you what, you've got to watch your tools at the moment. You've got to watch your tools because people are out there and they're robbing sheds, they're robbing garages, they're robbing vans, they're taking things off your drives, anything around your garden, and they are bold as brass. They really are bold as brass. They're walking into the gardens, and even when the light comes on, the security light, I watched one recently locally to where I am, and they were just wandering around, and they were seen in the area completely, wandering around early hours of the morning, through the night, different times, but they are around and they're out there in their droves, really, almost like zombies, like watching The Walking Dead. Why would anyone want to be out and about those hours in the morning? Because they're out to do no good, aren't they, really? At the end of the day, let's face it, they're out there to do no good whatsoever. They just want to cause pain and suffering, and that's what they do. Can you imagine? You've built your tools up, and if you were a young carpenter and you spent some money on tools, that they're not cheap these days. Festool, those products, good products, but they are not cheap, and they can be gone at a drop of a hat. And during the day as well, you see, that's the thing. This is when people least expect robberies to take place, but it's those times when it really does happen as well, when you least expect it. Those opportunists that happen to just walk down your drive, they see a garage door open, if you've got a garage door. Think about that at the moment. Had an attempted break into the van last Sunday, didn't get in, but damaged the van. There you are, that's from Stu. Stu, whereabouts is that? I'm glad they never had anything. And what have you done to, to try and, what can we do? We can get alarms, we can get cameras, but cameras are good if they pinpoint things, but they're not good when, dare I say it, I remember years ago I had two steel cutters. They were both going in for servicing, and I had a Hilti 110 and I had Hilti 110 drill, and I also had a cordless. Okay, I had a cordless drill, and fantastic. Cost an absolute fortune. Cost an arm and a leg. Literally, the back door was open. My nephew had left the door open, and they literally went into the back of the van, and it was no more than, from here to my van now, probably about 15 yards, and it was just out of sight. They went in the van, they took it. The had seen that there was a security camera along the street, and they said that they could actually see who was in that van at that time. And they said that they would go and check out the security footage, but they never did. They never checked it out. They never got back to me. I had to chase them up, never heard no more of it whatsoever. The thing is, if they would have checked that security cameras, and this said cameras work, that they could have got a number plate or something. Not good. Matt Reynolds says, I'm in the army, looking at a career change to landscaping. Watching your channel is inspiring. Matt, we actually have at the moment Ryan Campbell worked with me. Ryan was in the military, and he's working with me now, and he's loving it, he's enjoying it, and he's learning a lot. If you're interested to coming along and learning something, you're more than welcome if you want to come down with me. It's working for Ryan. He actually runs his own business up there in Crewe. Okay, he's running his own business. He's got a partner, and the business is going good. But now he's been down here for some time now, learning the trade. And if I can teach him something, I will. If I can, that is. You know, for some reason I can't get. Let me see if I can get that on there now. No, for some reason I can't get that on there. Let me just see if I can expand on that. There we are. I don't know if I can. No. There we are. I sees it now. Andy Groundworks says, good morning, mate. Hope is all as well. Lee from Andy Groundworks in Liverpool. Good to see Lee on here, regular viewer and good mate of mine. Lee's been down here working as well. So we've got to think about theft. We've got to think about what we're doing out there, and we've got to watch it. What preventative medicine can we put in place to ensure that our tools aren't going to get stolen? I recently, and I don't hide the fact because people see it on my videos, I had an Ivor Williams trailer for 15 years, but prior to that, it was actually, the other one was robbed, okay? And I've got a new one now, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on that and making sure I can get some clamps on there when I'm out and about. There is a lock on the ball hitch, okay? But it doesn't mean to say they can't break into it. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. Rob Fryer's just joined us as well. We just see who else is actually joined us here at the moment. We've got Tom Conley, morning Johnyboy, and all you landscaping legends on here this morning. Don't forget to smash the like button. Costs you nothing and grows the landscaping community. Tom, thanks very much about that. That's really good. Tom, if you want to sort of just put on here how we've got 22 live viewers. If you want to give some instructions on how to hit the like button, that'd be good. I'm not quite sure. You have to come out and come back in or something, don't you? That's what people have said. The big Suggs, good morning. Morning all, can't stop long as I've got a joiner coming shortly. Hey, we want to know what you're doing, Big Suggs. There we go. Look, I want to talk about health and breakfast. Do you guys, top notch, just joined us. Go on, Bird, how's it going? Hey, John Ward, we haven't heard of John for a while. He's messaged me and I ain't going to say he's good, he's okay, but we need to speak to John Ward. John Ward is a regular viewer, a landscape contractor down there in Birmingham, and it'd be good to speak to John. John, if you're watching this morning, I'm going to try and give you a ring after. Try and hit the like buttons, guys. 22 live viewers, you've got 12 likes now. If you want to call in this morning, the number is 07795 664 002, but we have got Patrick Dwyer calling in at 1:45. We're not far off that point, probably about a minute away. Stu says, I've got the hook deadlocks which stopped getting, but we'll be putting on the anti-drill plates on a day. Do you know, there's a young man, it's called Vehicle Extras. They do all that stuff. They're down in Birmingham and they're really, really good. They are really, really good, not expensive at all. It'd be great to actually have him on here, and maybe we'll do a vlog on what you can do to prevent people actually robbing you. Sorry about scratching my ear then at the moment. Yeah, health and breakfast. What do you guys do? Do you go out and have breakfast every morning, or do you do it once a week? I want to hear about that. Daddy of the triplets. I love it. Some of these names are absolutely brilliant. Morning, planning my own porcelain patio. Your videos have been invaluable. Thank you for the great content and information. That's no problem at all. Look, I love sharing what I'm doing, and I always talk about the channel and how we've grown it and where it started. And I remember the first video actually when we did it, but unfortunately there were 700 videos that actually disappeared because my web designer accidentally was trying to do the configuration and deleted the old account and we couldn't get it back. Dave Owens just joined us this morning. Dave, how's it going? Look, when people come on, they say hi to me, but they say hi to everybody. 15 likes, let's get some more likes on it. So we're talking about breakfast and health. What do you have every week? We've been using Smokies down in Newport, and only yesterday I bumped into a fellow landscaper and his cohort, and Dave Busson. And Dave, thanks very much. You didn't have to. He bought me my food. Smokies, a little American diner in Newport. Absolutely fantastic. Good food, but you don't want to be going there every day because you'd be putting on the weight. Lee Andy says, every day. I've got some spare kids if you want them, says Let's have a look. Dave White said, that's what it's all about, sharing and teaching the next generation. Absolutely. Do you know, Dave, I absolutely love that. So important, isn't it? It's so important. We bounce around with these conversations because people are saying things, and this is what we do. That's absolutely fine. John Ruddleson says, watching it on iPad, the like button appears below the screen on the left hand side. When the screen is minimized, easy, looks like a thumbs up. So there you are. John Ruddleson's got their readers instructions. We got 20 live viewers. Let's just get a few more. It doesn't matter how many live viewers that we actually have. We're here to help. And as Dave White says, it is about sharing knowledge. So important. No, I don't want any more kids at the moment. We've had our 3. My daughter's had a baby now, and it's great having him around. My grandson, absolutely fantastic, but I don't want any more myself personally. Martin Clark says, great resource. Many thanks for the commitment to supporting others. Can I ask a question about porcelain patio bases, please? Absolutely, Martin Clark. Fire away. Want to hear what you have to say or what your question is about bases, because if I haven't got the answer, there are plenty of people on here at the moment who will be able to help you. Top Notch says, just having a weekend breakfast. Went to the farm shop to get some fresh produce. Only allowed once a week. Watching my figure. Need to look as good as Johnyboy. Do you know, Top Notch? We have to meet up, mate. Honestly, we'll have to meet up. Yeah, looking as good as Johnyboy. I don't think so. I'm falling apart at the moment. I think I'll have to have an hip operation in the near future. Stephen Foley says, hi, Johnyboy. Hi, Steve. How are you, mate? Where are you from? And what are you doing today? And what have you been doing today? 19 live viewers, 19 likes, absolutely fantastic. The other thing we've talked about is the cold weather, about operating in the cold weather and whether you should be operating in the cold weather at the moment. And also, and we always touch upon it, bad contractors. There's a massive influx of bad contractors at the moment across the country, and well, not across the country, across the world. Everybody seems to want the money spent in their garden. They want to enjoy the outdoors, okay? And they can enjoy the outdoors even in the winter in their garden. So a lot of people are spending money in their gardens. And as a result of that, there's a massive influx of landscapers and contractors in the home improvements business in general. And the question is, are there bad contractors out there that are performing badly and producing bad work? Well, I suggest there is. There always has been, and there always will be. But I think there's a massive inflated amount of people out there at the moment that are actually doing it. So look, listen, I want to hear from you. Don't forget mine if you want to call in this morning. The number is, I got itchy here this morning. The number is 07795 664 002. Got to give a, like I said, we always say about ITS and massive thanks to them, but the thing is, for a long, long time, I've really tried to get suppliers and manufacturers to be more accountable in how they go about their daily business and how they're dealing with you, the contractor and the consumer alike, and how they're dealing with people. And when people come to me and they say, John, can you give us a mention with our products? I said, yeah, of course I can. But you've got to remember is that I will talk about companies if they're good, I won't talk about companies if they're bad. What it is for me, that products can be bad, but it's about the service, the aftercare service as well. So as a result of that, I want to basically give a big shout out to Tobermoor Paving, Max Reet, Dudley at Max Reet, that's that post-Reet product. Got to mention now, the Mosier tools, the measuring tools, Durapost, ITS, of course, Sandstone Supplies, Chris Ayres up there in Cheshire. Sandstone Supplies. Speak to Chris and Liz if you're looking for paving. And of course, Tudor Grass in Manchester. If you're looking for artificial grass at the moment, whether you like it, whether you don't like it, give them a ring. If you mention me, you will get a bit of a discount. Tudor Grass's delivery service, unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. And considering during this period when things are quite tough. I don't know where our Patrick is at the moment. He hasn't called me. So he's supposed to be calling in 11:15. If anybody can tell me what the time is at the moment, he's running a little bit late. And of course, BSW and Aspects as well. I work with these companies, but you've got to think, here we are, as if by magic. Oh, come on, Patrick. Here we go. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Is that Patrick?
Yes.
How you doing, mate?
I'm all right. You?
We just mentioned your name. Well, look, listen, without any further ado, I hope you're well. Can you say who you are, where you're from? Some people know you on here, some people don't, but just what's happening, Patrick?
Well, my name's Patrick Dwyer. I'm a landscape gardener and designer, first and foremost. I'm a working class man, a Yorkshireman. I live in Sheffield, that's really me in a nutshell, really. And I own a company called Chameleon Landscaping Limited.
It seems to me, Patrick, you can't see it, but there's a few people on here that actually know who you are through this channel. Rob Fryer just said he's from Sheffield, so they know exactly where you're from. Patrick, in a few words, you run a tight ship up there, don't you, at Chameleon Landscapes?
We do what? Sorry, John. You bit of a bad line, mate.
Yeah, you run a tight ship, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, you've got to. We do. We like to do things right, and make sure that we're going above and beyond in our sector and trying to lead the way and be a forerunner really in what we do. And it's proving to paying off in dividends, because we're actually getting quite a lot of recognition now, especially around the Yorkshire area, in what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve as a company and our ethos.
Yeah, absolutely. Pat, there's a lot of people watching this morning. I know you very well, and obviously on all the forums that people know you, they know the quality of your work and how you go about your business. But for the consumer out there, not everybody knows who you are really, do they? Up in Sheffield they will do, but slowly people through this channel are seeing and going and checking out your work. There's no doubts about that. That's happening, and they can see what standards other landscape companies should be aspiring to.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of companies which are leading the way, but there's a long way for the industry as a whole, I feel, to improve, and it does need improving. We spoke about this before, Johnny, about some sort of realistic regulatory body, not one of these bodies where you've got a regulatory body which is saying that you're the best in their field because you're selling their products. I think there needs to be a real regulatory body where you're actually assessed for your work and not for what the products you're using.
Yeah, Pat, in Australia, they have to, you just can't be a landscaper and do decking. You have to go through the decking licensing thing they have out there in Australia. And so there's quite heavy regulation on that if you want to become a contractor. Is that something that you welcome in this country?
Definitely. I think the problem is, John, is that as a whole, our industry is probably one of the easiest industries to do a startup business in. And regardless of what people think, I think if you're in this industry because you want to earn loads of money, you're not doing your job right. It's not about the money for me as a business. It's about being the best, and it's about delivering exceptional gardens to our clients, and also leaving a legacy for me. That's the biggest thing for me. I just, and at the moment I've got amazing guys what are working for me. I've got two guys. I've got Richard and I've got Jonathan. We are looking for other staff as well, so I'll do a little plug if there's anybody in the Sheffield area wants to work for an absolutely fantastic company, in my opinion, and wants to do really good high-end gardens and get trained and everything else, give me a shout. I'd be more than happy to hear from you.
Well, that's what Patrick's saying now. If you're in the landscaping industry, you want to get into it, and you're looking for work, Patrick Dwyer, Chameleon Landscapes. We'll talk about that in a moment. We'll go back to that, Pat. But I just want to pick up what you said. You said it's easy as a start to and get into a startup business into the landscape industry, and if you could imagine now, there you are. You're a consumer. You're sat at home, and you look online. And all of a sudden you see a number of landscapers, and they see you, and they see this other landscaper, and he has this picture that is online. The presence online is very good. It appears to be good. It appears to have the references and what have you, and everything seems to be in place. And he says on there that he's fully insured, and all those things. He's ticking all the boxes. But the fact is, he could have been unemployed the week before, never done any landscaping before, and all of a sudden he's got this online presence, hasn't he?
Yeah, and that's. I think the consumers need to be more savvy with what they're doing and what landscapers they decide that they're going to go with, and that's in any sort of tradesman really. As when I'm looking, because as an example, I absolutely hate painting. So if my missus says to me, are we going to get decorating? I'll say, yeah, I'll get decorators in. So I'll get the decorators in. I'll ask for references. And when I'm saying references, I want contact numbers of people who I can ring and speak to them specifically and ask them questions of what I'm not going to ask the tradesman. And that's what I welcome that as a business. I said to my clients, I can give you 5 phone numbers, or you can ring up people randomly who's left reviews and speak to them and ask them any uncomfortable questions, what you don't want to ask about me, and they'll tell you how I do things.
Yeah.
And I've had a client, I went out to see her Saturday. She's booked in for this year. She turned round and she said, Patrick, the nice thing was, I ran two customers from 2 of your jobs, and they had nothing but praise to say about you and your team. And that's by just leaving, making sure that the whole experience for clients, and it's not just about laying good paving, that comes into it, but you've got to give them, the customers, that experience, and you've got, wherever you think you are now, you need to be up in your game, because people expect a lot more now, and people's level of expectations have gone up, and you've got to be service mind as well as looking after the client and managing it properly. It's not just a case about being able to build a nice brick wall or whatever. The whole experience from start to finish has got to be second to none.
Do you know, Pat, right, this is massively interesting. I could just listen to you all day, and but obviously I want to sort of just we've got time at the moment, but I am conscious of the fact that you've got somewhere to go as well. We need to carry on with these chats, Patrick, because it is massively valued. But let me just going back now. Just imagine you're on a job, and there's nothing wrong when things go wrong, but it's how you deal with it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's accountability. I think there's no quick way of getting to have a business which is ticking all the boxes. The only way you're going to get it is through time and patience and hard work and managing people's expectations correctly. And the biggest thing what I feel where people fall down, and other businesses, is through communication. And I've done it myself. But you've got to push yourself in them directions and making sure that communication's the biggest thing for me. Just, keeping them keep communication open with clients and everything. Because most people, as long as they know what's happening and they're kept in the loop, are more than happy to just carry on doing things, and they're happy with everything else. But there's no excuse not to.
No, there's not. No. And how do you communicate with your clients, Pat? Do you like? Is it every day or once every couple of days during the process?
Yeah, what we do is, we'll, as an example, when I go out and do initial consultation with a client, we'll have a consultation, and then from that we'll talk about the project and budgets and everything else, and then usually that then goes on to a design, and then from the design, we have a Zoom meeting. So we'll have a Zoom meeting for the first design, and then we'll talk about things and talk about what they like, what they don't like, what can be changed, and then we go to a second draft design, and then we have another Zoom meeting, and then once that's all been happy and confirm that they like everything on the final draft, we then get the costings, and then when we start the project, we have a meeting with the client probably a couple of days before. We'll give them an outline of what's happening the first week, and then most days we'll either we set a WhatsApp group up just for that client, so we'll have their project. So as an example, if it was called the Smith project, in that group there'd be Mr. and Mrs. Smith, my site manager, which is Richard, and myself. And then if there's any questions or anything, we just send it out on the group, and then everyone in the group knows everything what's going on. We'll send them out a schedule of work, so what we're planning to do that week, and then we'll keep them informed during the week through WhatsApp or video messages where we're at and what we're doing.
Yeah, and to be honest, Patrick, that's in a way that's just being totally thorough about what you're doing, and you've got evidence to say that you spoke to them, you've talked to them on these dates, and you're being thorough about everything you're doing throughout the whole process of the project, aren't you?
Yeah, and the thing is, you're not leaving things to chance, and you get them involved in the process, and then what happens with that, and you show your client that you're getting them involved in the process. What tends to happen the first week, we have a lot of communication with the clients, and then the second week, and then come the third week, they just turn around to you and said, "We're fine, we trust you to get on with it, just get on with it," because they know you're on it and you're not leaving anything for chance. The biggest thing is just don't assume what you're thinking, the customer's thinking, because as soon as you do that, you're on a slippery road. You've just got to keep that level of communication up. And if it's just a quick 10-second text, "Hiya, this is what we've done today. Hope you're happy with it, blah, blah, blah." And and it's just that pre-planning. If you're working out an area and you're looking at, say, as an example, the customer said, "Oh, we wanted a curved patio section putting in," draw it out on the groundworks, and get the client to come out first thing in the morning and have a look at it and say, "Right, this is what we're planning to do. Are you happy with that there? Yes." Boom, get on with it. It's just pre-planning. And
the reality is that when they actually start seeing it on the floor, they can see what they're getting. We recently had a customer come out, and she though we had agreed where the steps were going to be, she thought that that the distance between the last step and the rear boundary fence was going to be less than what she thought, and it was actually 2 meters longer than what she thought it was going to be. So going through that process, Patrick, and explaining to her and getting the tape out and measuring it and practically showing it helps, doesn't it?
It helps both parties, because at the end of the day, there's not going to be any surprises. You're giving the customer clarity and on exactly what they're having.
Yeah.
And then if there is any issues from the client's point of view, as a landscaper and as a contractor, you're not having to deal with any aftermath, because I always say to my clients, I always say to them, if you've got any concerns about anything, however little it is, you need to tell me before the event happens. So if we're going to be putting paving down, you need to be telling me before if you've got any concerns about it. And with being so open to customers like that and laying your stall out and not being rude, but just being firm and being in control, you're leading the project, which is what you're paid to do anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. I agree with you 100%. But unfortunately, sometimes, communication does get lost. So you've got to be on the ball. And certainly what happens sometimes, and I've had this in the past, is that you talk to one partner and then the other partner hasn't necessarily agreed with what the one partner's doing. That's happened to me.
This is exactly why we set the WhatsApp group up, because there's no reason, and we get both partners' telephone numbers, and then everybody's singing off the same hymn sheet, and everybody's got all the right information. So there's no grey areas. So it's not like you text it. I would definitely never just text one partner. And if you're sending a message on the group, everybody gets that. So there's no recourse because everybody's aware of it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Our current project is absolutely beautiful. It's working well, and I believe that our next project will be exactly the same. Pat, look, we don't want to be giving all this information away now because we're going to run out of topics to talk about. But I just want to look. This is what I want to bring you into the live stream now, and I really appreciate you actually talking to me this morning. Tom Conley says is a question and some comments I want to just read to you at the moment. Let me just get on here now. Just get my glasses on. You can start listening to what's actually happening. Martin Clark, I don't know where Martin Clark's from, Patrick. He says, results to lay the tiles on a concrete slab using tile adhesive. Do you have any comments or advice or videos of this method? Laying tiles on concrete, Pat. Give us your view on that.
So that again, sorry. Tiles on concrete.
Yeah, Martin Clark saying lay the tiles on concrete slabs, tiles adhesive. Have you got any views on this? Like, about laying tiles, sometimes can you lay like 10 mil outdoors on concrete? Would that work? I suppose.
It all depends on what the base is like, and there's a million variables, John, as you know. It's obviously the biggest thing with posting tiles is water. You need to make sure that there's no water ingress.
Yeah, there's area, absolutely. Just, I'm not going to talk over the top because that wouldn't be fair, but just on the same topic, just to let you know, because you can't see, it's not fair on you. Sean Johnson says, morning, mate. My friend has bought some porcelain patio tiles that have been reclaimed from someone's garden. The issue is they're just over 10 mil thick. Is that too thin for a garden patio?
I don't think so. No, as long as it's laid correctly.
Yeah, as long as you get good bonding between the tile and the mortar, isn't it, and the base?
Well, it all goes back to making sure that it's all bonded correctly and you've got a good sub base and there's no water can get underneath. That's the biggest thing.
It's the water that causes the problems. Tom Conley goes, sorry, Pat. I just want you to see what's going on and what people are saying. I mentioned earlier on before you joined the live stream about van theft. Tom Conley says Roger Bisbee on the YouTube Skill Builders has been encouraging tradespeople to write to their local MPs about theft from vans. The lobbying is starting to gain traction in Parliament, but it needs us all. What's your view on that in general, Pat? And what's going on?
The thing is, this has been going on for time, hasn't it? And they need to do something about it. Obviously, as tradesmen, I think. For us tradesmen, that's the biggest concern. I got my lock-up at the back of my house a couple of years ago. I got ram raided with 3 guys in a mask.
Did you really?
Luckily, I was in. Yeah. Luckily, I was in. But it's not so much the pinching your tools as well. It's all the after effects it has. So, as an example. After I got ram raided, I was there. I ran up the garden. Luckily, I shouldn't be saying this, but I had a pickaxe handle, and they didn't expect me running up the garden towards them with a pickaxe handle. But they got in the car and sped away. They basically reversed the stolen car into my garage, and they had literally in 10 seconds. They had 2 chainsaws, a still saw down next to the back of the car, ready to go in the boot, and they're all masked up.
And what happened as a result, Pat? What happened? Tell me a little bit more about it. Nothing. Nothing
happened.
The police get him?
I got a police crime number. and that was it. And I didn't have any follow up or anything. And I had them on CCTV as well, John.
Yeah, Pat, I'll tell you now, just go back a few years ago, I said to Luke, my nephew, I said, is the van locked? He said, I'll go and check now. He went to the van, 2 still saws went, and a Hilti 24 volt cordless one, and a 110. And the police come along,
The problem you've got as well, John, is you've got tradesmen buying stolen tools.
That's it.
That's the biggest problem.
There you go. There we go. Supply and demand, isn't it, Pat?
Yeah. And unfortunately, you've got a lot of tradesmen out there, and you've got a lot of people out there who are quite happy to nick another tradesman's tools, which I think is the lowest of the low. And that's the problem. And while ever we've got that, and while ever they don't have a punishment which is more severe, they only get a slap wrist. They're not bothered. They'll just go out again next week and still carry on robbing, because there's always going to be somebody in the pub who's going to buy a still saw for 100 quid.
Oh, Pat, it's disgusting, isn't it? When you actually think of that moment that you got one of your own kind, a contractor, that you've probably passed in the street or seen in the builders merchants, that are probably buying these tools that have been robbed, aren't they?
Of course they are.
Oh, it's dreadful, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's part of the wider problem. It's not about these scroats just wanting to make 100 quid here, £1,000, but it's big money for them. And all they're doing is they're supplying other people tools.
Pat,
yeah, it's wrong.
At the moment, I want to just go and read some of the things that people are saying, but it's just that moment of, I'm having like an epiphany at the moment. You go up to you're in your local pub, you're having something to eat with your wife or your kids, and you're out and you see another contractor, you say, "Hi, bud, how's it going?" And then when you think about it, that could be a contractor that could have bought the tools that has been robbed off you.
Yeah.
Pat?
But the thing is, these people always come unstuck, though, John. Because I'm a big believer that they'll get the comeuppance, and I would rather go out and earn my money. And yeah, we have got dirty hands as landscapers, but we've got dirty hands because we work with soil. But I'd rather have dirty hands and clean money, and I'd rather run my business ethically than shafting a fellow landscaper to get by. And I just think it's wrong.
Pat, I'll tell you a story now. My daughter's actually in the kitchen at the moment now. I remember she was drawing the curtains. It was about 5 or 6 o'clock. The sun was going down and the sun was shining into the living room. And my last house, you could see right down the drive. And every night I used to come back, every day, I'd always reverse the van in, because I'm good at reversing trailers, believe you me, right? I'm showing off now. On this one occasion, I didn't reverse the trailer in, okay? Charlotte shut the curtains, and then all of a sudden I heard a noise, and I thought, and then within 2 or 3 minutes I'd realised that was the sound of my trailer, the A-frame, hitting the road, because I didn't have a jockey wheel on it. And when I looked outside, my trailer had gone. And as you know, recently, I just got rid of a trailer now after 15 years on Ivor Williams, and I've just replaced the one now. And Alison and I were talking this morning, we probably need to get that insured again separately from the van, because it's a different product,
Definitely.
Isn't it? Yeah.
But another thing as well, John, what I would say to landscapers and I would say to tradesmen, keep low key. You don't need to be advertising what new toys you've got online. And yeah, it's great that the business has been successful, and you're being successful or whatever, and you bought a new digger, and you bought a new trailer, and you bought this. You don't need to be telling the world and advertising what you've got, because if you keep low key, you're keeping off the radar.
Yeah, absolutely. I've put a lot of things in place, Pat. That obviously with my YouTube channel, I'm there to help people, and people see what I've got. I review products on a regular basis. I have got dogs around there, so they got the gates. I've always got the van in front of the gates, and I keep a close eye on things. But Pat, since we've had that conversation, I didn't expect this live feed to go like it was going this morning, and I've had this horrible feeling, the stomach churning, in my stomach just churning over, thinking that feeling that I had. It's almost like post-traumatic stress disorder, isn't it? You're thinking about that moment of the realization that your product's gone and you're not going to see it again.
Yeah, well, after I got ram raided with them 3 guys, I didn't sleep for about a month. Any little noise, I were up.
Yeah.
Because you think they're going to come back again and try it again, but the reality is, they know you're not going to take it lying down, so they're not going to try and get you again, because you confront these guys, and most of the time they'll leg it anyway. But I'm the sort of bloke what won't back down from anybody. But it's just in my build. But these people, they just look for quick soft touches, and and easy options. They just want in and out with no fuss.
Right, Pat. But sorry, mate. Before we read any questions, just give our listeners now some advice on what they can do to, just very quickly, what they can do to sort of keep things safe, and and that peace of mind knowing that you're not going to be robbed.
The biggest thing is empty your bloody vans.
Really, yeah.
Empty a van, and I know when you've been working all day and you've had a hard day, you're absolutely wet through. Last thing you want to be doing is unloading the van. Unload the van. Just put your stuff up, lock it away, because the vans now are just not safe. There's no security on vans whatsoever, and most girls can get into them. Get your garage, or your lock-up Belleville. I've got a Master Blaster siren, and to say it's loud is an understatement.
Right. Okay. Pat, we need to revisit this. We need to revisit this and look at it. But I just want to read. Matt Reynolds says, "Lads and lasses, I am going to have to get on with the day. As a fellow Yorkshireman, it's good to hear Pat chat the same ethics I intend to set up business with. My advice would be appreciated." So any advice? That's Matt Reynolds up there. Tom Conley says, big issue now is tools stolen from north are sold in bespoke markets in the south and southern too. Tools go in big markets in the north. You need to mark all valuable tools. Pat, you can get some of those tools now where you can actually track, almost like your iPhone, can't you, as well?
Yeah. You can put little tracking devices. I've got a tracking device for my dog. So, she's got a tracking device on the collar. So you can get everything and you can just hide them in machinery and stuff like that.
I think, sorry.
It just makes sense, you can put them anywhere. The batteries last for ages, and then you just hide them in your machinery, and then you can just track you down.
Yeah, Addison's got a tracking device on me, I think, Pat, sometimes, because she always knows where I am. Gary Walker says, "Go on, Johnyboy. Just a random one, but what's the general consensus on resin bond for a driveway, for example? Thinking of having a go myself." Well, my opinion, Pat, I want to hear off you, but I think if you haven't done it before, I think just having a go is it good or what?
No, to be honest with you, I don't touch it.
Right, okay.
I don't do. We don't do resin bond driveways.
Any reason why?
It's just a product. From my personal view, is I'm not comfortable with the product as a business, and I don't think that's where our business in the marketplace is situated, to be honest with you.
No, and there you are. That's just knowing your nuts and bolts, and obviously you stick to what you're good at, isn't it, I suppose? Neil Farah says, good lad. Daddy of the Triplet says, my actual name is Mike and I'm from Essex, the land of spray tans, ultra white teeth, by the way. So there we are. You have some questions coming in. Hi, Johnny. Meant to ring you this week to discuss Ruby table saws. Apologies, I didn't get around to it. We'll ring you this week. Ruby saws, what do you reckon? Ruby saws, Pat?
Brilliant. Absolutely spot on.
And Elite Stone Tools.
Yeah, they're fantastic. Well, we've used quite a lot of the bullnosing bits and edges on a lot of our porcelain projects. And the thing is for me, John, I don't know about you, but I think if you're getting a product and it's good, and then you're getting a really good service and you're getting really good aftercare, I think it just enhances that product. And for me, if you're getting the service from these companies, which obviously we Elite Stone Tools and Ruby we get, it just makes it a no-brainer, really.
Pat, you're right. Henry at Elite Stone Tools is absolutely fantastic, and Paul Carter. Paul Carter, do you know Pat? Right, I went on a recent trip to France with them, and on the way back from the airport, he took a call off one of the people that they supplied. And then he got the number because this lady said that they had a complaint about a product, just an auger bit, that's all it was. And the guy was phoning this guy up to explain to him what the problem was and helping him, and he was really good. And I think this is a rarity in some companies out there. Pat, I'm not going to push you on, right? But you know, if you and I were in a pub and we had a cold beer, we wouldn't get a word in edgeways, would we?
Definitely not.
Pat, you need...
Not with you, anyway.
No, but you need to watch this video after, because I'm really conscious of, not interrupting you, but I'm also trying to read what people say, and I know that we could keep this conversation going all day. Daddy of Triplets says, when looking for... This is their YouTube name, Daddy of Triplets. He says, when looking for porcelain slabs, is there a big difference in quality when looking at cheaper versus more expensive options? Is there any particular to look out for when purchasing them? You can answer this, Pat.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It's a massive market at the moment. We deal with a company called Paving Stones Direct in Worksop, and we've never had any bad porcelain off them at all. And obviously, historically, Italian porcelain is perceived as being the best. But there's porcelain getting manufactured from all over the world. So it's just like anything else, really. You've got to look into it and do your homework and look at your reviews and actually look at the product. And you can actually sometimes see, especially on the bigger porcelain slabs, if there's any bowing in them during the manufacturing process. So it's just about product usage and reviews and doing your own work, really, and taking references off from other people. There's no specific product because there's that many products out there.
Well, I tell you something now, Pat, right? And I only say things what I know I'm good at. Like, I'm absolutely... Can I just have a little swear word or no?
No.
Well, can I say poo?
Yeah, poo hot.
Yeah. Do you know what, Pat? I love you, right? You're great. You're brilliant, because I didn't want to swear. I am, without doubt, the Mr. Miyagi poo-hot of cutting bad porcelain. I've sussed it out. I've really nailed it. And do you know why I nailed it, Pat? Because I broke so many. Right. I broke so many.
Yeah.
Look,
I love porcelain. I was really at one bit thinking, oh no, porcelain, but it's an amazing product, and I think sandstone now. I know it is popular in certain areas of the country, but I think porcelain's just the way forward now.
It is, but it's just got to be done right. That's the thing about it. And I think what's going to give it a bad name is if it's not installed correctly. And there's just a massive influx, Pat, of contractors into this industry at the moment, and people are entering it very easy. They're crossing over the line, and they're just doing it bad.
Well, myself and Richard went out to a job. I'm not going to say any specifics because I'm not going to mention any names, but we've been called out to rectify a massive job, where the porcelain's not been laid right, completely not right, and there's a lot of landscapers who you would imagine would know how to do it right, or aren't doing it right job.
I know.
Which is worrying.
Oh, massively. Well, I think, do you know, right, Pat, when you actually think of the price of these jobs that people are having done now, I'm just, even now, when I work a price out, we got to say, sometimes as contractors, we can still be shocked about how the prices come out, don't we? You know, it's not that...
The problem you've got, I think there's a lot of people, no disrespect to a lot of customers, but a lot of customers are price driven, and that's where they're falling down, because if they're getting their cousin's friend in who does a bit of grass cutting, and he says, "Oh, I'll lay it porcelain." That's where they're going to end up spending money, and where they're not getting it right. You wouldn't. It's just there's a lot of people coming out of the woodwork, and I understand people need to earn money. People need to get by and earn a living and look after themselves. But I'll tell you now, there's going to be a lot of stuff what's going to be coming up where people have had horror stories. Because I've already had 3 customers get in touch with me this year with some serious horror stories, and I'm not talking a couple of £100, I'm talking thousands and thousands of pounds what people have done, and they're out of the depth.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. I think you couldn't put any better, out of their depth, and they are, and because they haven't put any checklist in place when they're installing these products. Look, listen, we could talk about this all day, Pat, and we can revisit this again, and we will do, because the reason we will revisit is because as we are talking on this live stream, the questions and the observations that come up in messages on here is incredible, really. You probably need to sit back and watch it later and have a look. And I hope I haven't interrupted you too much.
No, not at all. It's always a pleasure to come online. I appreciate it, and helping in any way I can, whatever advice I can give. And, we are a community as landscapers, but, what frustrates me is there's some amazing landscapers out there, and we are, getting a lot of it right, but we've just got to make sure that we keep it in the right direction, and just keep things going above and beyond, and that's everything. We've got it's a great industry to be in, and I love what I do. And I wake up and most days, and I think, I don't think, oh no, I've got to go to work. I absolutely love what I do, and you're probably the same, John. But we've just got to make sure that we keep striving. That's just me. I just want to keep striving to be better each day, and that's what we've got to do.
Isn't that the case that you do, don't you? I get out every day, and I can't wait to get to work in some respects. Like, when it's cold and wet, it's not good. Like, but then we put a smile on our face, and it's a nice feeling when you've accomplished something in difficult conditions, and when it seems to be against you, and you've achieved something that you don't think you were going to do. But isn't that a good feeling, Pat?
Amazing. The job satisfaction you get in the work what we do, it's unreal, and you do get a lot of wins. There's obviously some days when you just question to yourself that, why am I doing this? And I think we've all had those days, but I think for me, where I am, and I've seen the growth as a business, and the growth where we are and what we're trying to achieve, it gets me excited.
Yeah, look,
I'm really excited for the next 12 months.
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
And Pat, we got to absolutely, we got to remind the people that are watching this channel now. You and I run a landscaping forum with a couple of other guys, and the forum on there is about helping the landscaping industry, helping fellow landscapers, but also ultimately to help the consumer, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think. From consumers' point of view, it's a minefield out there, and I do feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
I've had a client, like I said to you the other day, they're having an absolute nightmare of a project what should have been done, and it's just it's a nightmare, and but there's always going to be bad experiences, and people are always going to hear about the bad experiences rather than the majority of the good experiences. And there is a lot of good landscapers out there, but there's always going to be that small minority what spoil it for everybody else.
Absolutely.
You're going to always get tarnished. Like these mechanics, bakers, sandwich shops, there's always going to be good and bad. But I think consumers need to be more savvy.
Yeah, I totally agree with you 100%. But the thing is, do you think these sort of channels and these podcasts help the consumer to sort of start to understand what they should be looking for, Pat?
Yeah, I think just by going on Facebook and looking at the pictures, that's not enough. You need to. If I was, as an example, I was going to get an extension done on my house. I'm a landscaper. I'm not a builder, and I was going to get a builder in. The first thing I would do is I would go on company house, and I would look at their accounts for the last 5 years.
Right.
That tells me whether they're a profitable business, whether they've gone into liquidation, or whether they've set up. Just because a contractor's saying I've been going 14 years, he might have had 7 different businesses.
Yeah. We
need to look at references. You need to look at you need to ask the customers. The thing is, customers don't ask for things. They don't ask for a copy of the insurance policy. I give my customers a copy of our insurance policy so they can see it in black and white.
There you go. So what Patrick's saying now, if you're watching this live stream, is that he actually presents his clients with the actual public liability insurance. He shows them the cover so they can actually see a copy of it and they know that it's in place, which gives peace of mind, doesn't it, Pat?
It's everything, and it's not having no grace. As a small company, I can guarantee you now we have got more health and safety policies than some companies what have got 100, 200 staff. We, as a small business, we've got health and safety policy, we've got an environmental policy, we've got a child welfare policy, we've got a young vulnerable adults policy.
Mm. Yeah.
And it's taking your business serious. And, if we're this serious about our business and we care about the environment, about interacting with customers and making sure that all these things are in place, that gives your customer confidence. And that's not done just on merit. That's done on merit, and that's by taking actions and putting these things in place and getting off your backside and make sure that thing's all right and doing a plan. It doesn't happen just because you've written it on a piece of paper.
No, absolutely. And I think the thing is, Pat, we obviously, not all of them have got to be limited companies, but there are many safeguards and things that we can put in place to avoid this sort of problem, isn't there? There's lots of things that we can do. We can discuss these again, and we have discussed these in the past, and we'll address them again. But as a general podcast, this has to help the consumer, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. And the thing is, for the consumer, they need to do their own work more. I'm absolutely aghast by some of the, like I said, the project I saw last week. The customer had picked a contractor up. I looked at the contractor's page. It literally had 45 photos on his page. He had no reviews. So that's a red flag straight away. No reviews.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all.
And I'm just thinking, why would you hand over all that money? But it is what it is. But it's unfortunate. But it's it works both ways. The landscapers are, I vet my customers. So, the customers better than I vet my customers because, you've got some scrupulous customers out there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it works both ways. Pat, look, listen, I think we can go on and on with this now. We've gone over the hour mark. I always try to keep it to an hour. And I don't want to say goodbye, but before you go, when I spoke to you earlier this morning and you answered the phone, and what did you say? Those 2 words.
Which 2 words? I can't remember.
Now then? No. I said, hi, Pat.
How
do.
Yeah.
That's a real... Can you give us a few more Yorkshire sayings before you go?
It says I am, but I better ask.
Sorry?
No, then they are, I do it.
Hey, Patrick Dwyer, Chameleon Landscapes, thanks very much for joining this podcast, and I hope that you'll do it again. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you watch it later just to see that I was trying to be as...
I will do.
It's so difficult, Pat, when there's so many things to talk about, and like I said, if we were in the pub, it'd be a little bit different, wouldn't it? You tell me to shut up.
No, give over. All right, give over. John.
All right, Pat. Listen, if anybody is actually looking to get into the landscaping business and is in the Yorkshire area in Sheffield, who do they contact, Pat? Is there a telephone mobile?
They can go straight to our Facebook page. They can, if they look on our Facebook page, they can contact us directly on Messenger. They can also go to our website at www.chameleon-landscaping.co.uk and they can send us a message through our website as well.
Well, there you are. You had it straight from the horse's mouth. Thank you, Patrick Dwyer. Really appreciate it. And I'll speak to you soon. Take care, Pat.
Cheers.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
There you go, Patrick Dwyer from Chameleon Landscapes. We were on the phone 45 minutes then. That was a long phone call. Thank you, Patrick, for doing that. And I hope you do watch this live stream after and just read some of the comments that people said. If we haven't answered the comments and if we haven't responded on this live stream, just drop us an email to info@greentoplandscapes.co.uk, or you can just respond on this video itself once it gets loaded later on. I do apologise for not having a shave this morning, but it's the look that I want at the moment. That was interesting, wasn't it? It was interesting from Patrick. It's good that he takes time out to come on here and to show his passion and talk about the things, what is important to him and what he feels that the consumer should be looking for and what contractors should be doing at the moment. That's his opinion. He's entitled to his opinion, but those opinions are valid by me and many other people across the country. I'm afraid that's it. 66 minutes. We've gone well over than we usually do. Thanks for joining. I'm going to be working on maybe a video later on. I want to get it out there. So important to be safe. Think about all the things we talked about. Think about the theft at the moment. Think about your health and the breakfast and all that sort of thing. Cold weather as well. And have a look at Patrick Dwyer. Go on to his Facebook page, Chameleon Landscapes, and have a look on there. Neil Farah says, Chameleon cannot find it. Chameleon Landscapes, they're on Facebook. Any information on concrete slab and tile adhesive method, please. You've got to make sure that you're using an exterior adhesive. Look at BAL or Mapai or even Ardex. They've got some great products for sticking down large format tiles. And I think BAL got a product, it's up to 20 mil thick, the adhesive can be. So just go to the BAL website, you'll be able to check that out. I'm going to be visiting BAL very, very soon next week. I'll be able to bring you a live stream and some posts from the BAL auditorium where they got a training facility up there, and they'll be talking about all good things, adhesives and tiling. Have a good day as well to you, top notch. Be lucky, bud. Don't forget mine, you owe me a breakfast. Thanks, Johnyboy and Patrick, everyone here this morning. Tom Conley, there you are, magic, saying thank you to everyone. Thank you very much, David White and Neil Farr, over the head. Thanks all. I'll see you next week, says Stu. All the best. Have a safe week, and we'll see you soon. Thanks for joining. Bye.